Hey, so this day kind of merits its own video at this point. Again, haven't told you all the stories from before, but get there. I don't know. As a storyteller, all I do is tell stories. That's what I was trying to say there. I'm a little bit waterlogged, probably why I can't talk. It is Saturday, September the 12th. Here it is 6:46. I think that would make it 1:46. Back in the 6. And I've purposely given myself a wide shot to show off my t-shirt. If you take a moment, it looks like a bike. It's basically an exploded bicycle. What I did this morning was took off on my friend's bicycle, Christina, in order to go to town, to go to a thrift shop, and buy clothes to be able to work on my bike. The whole concept of working on my bike, there's a shop here in Aberdeen associated with the university. It's called B-Cycle, and people donate a whole bunch of parts, and then you go in and build your own bike. So I was like, okay, cool. If I'm going to be building a bike, I'm going to get messy. Obviously, I did. I got dirty. Anyways, so basically, got this sweet shirt, went there for 1:30. The session for the day had started at 1, so I was half an hour in, and it was supposed to go until 6. And so rolled in, picked up a frame, was trying to figure out whether or not it would be worth fixing, whether it was the kind of bike that I wanted, if it was the right size, that kind of thing is really hard to judge when there's no wheels on it. It's literally just a hunk of metal. You have to get all the parts together, brakes, chain, wheels. Wheels include so many different pieces, but just wheels, we'll leave it at that. So I picked a frame, and then I picked wheels, and I was like, you know what? This isn't working for me. I don't really like it. It's not going to mesh too well. As well as the thing that I was figuring out that I was probably going to be too tall for it, as I was with most of the bikes that were there. So I went and I picked out a different frame, and it turned out it has 700 size wheel, and that just basically means it's big. Which also means because it's on the far end of the scale, it's more of a rare, not bike, but it's rare to find parts associated with donations. And so I was struggling with the wheels and kind of trying to piece together some things and talk to one of the guys who worked there. And that was the first time I'd actually talked to someone. And I asked him for a bit of advice, and he explained that especially with the rear tire, it's supposed to have the same amount of gears as there are on the handlebars in order to make it match up well. And mine had a 7-gear changer, which is really cool because that makes it a better bike in the eyes of marketing. But 7 gears on a 700 tire are almost impossible to find. So we found a 5-gear on a 700 and decided to go with that one. Got it all fitted, got the tires on myself, and then started to look at brakes. And I've looked at brakes a bunch of different times, but I've never actually tried to fix them. So I got to the point where I was supposed to fix the front one, and I don't know, once you take it apart, how do you put it back together? I don't know. So I asked the same guy. Turns out his name's Steve, to give me a hand, and so he came over and gave me a hand. We figured out the front pretty quickly. It turned out that we had to take a piece off one of their scrap bikes and put it on the other side, so it was a little bit of a Frankenstein brake, but it stops you, so, that's the important part, because the fallback on, dragging your feet probably isn't on the prime list of ways to ride a bike. Anyways, we got to the rear brake, and we found out that we needed a new cable, so he taught me how to put a new cable in, and that was really cool, because I was like, hey, you see the handle, you know that it breaks back there, you know there's a wire, but you don't know that there's literally 16 different pieces that all have to go together in the right spot in order to hold it in place and make it work for you when you need it. So we went all the way through that, and then came to a point where I think it was Steve didn't really like the tire on the back wheel, and he was just like, oh, I know where to find a tire, it's no biggie. He meant the rubber. I had the insole of the tire, what is it called, an inner tube? Yeah, we had the inner tube, we had the rim, and he wanted a different tire. So then he was putting that tire on, having taken off the first one, and realized that one of the spokes on the wheel was broken. And he looked at me and he was like, well, like, how much do you care? And I was like, it's a broken spoke. Like, get from point A to point B, I don't really care. So he kind of waved it off. And then we got to the end of the bike. And I should mention that it was pouring pretty much the entire time I was working on the bike. And I was working outside. So I was a little soggy. I decided to just, like, go for the t-shirt because I was like, that's what's going to dry faster. And, like, it's 14, 15 degrees outside. Like, it's not freezing. In my books, it's a nice temperature. So as much as I don't like rain, it was okay. So I'm standing out there working on stuff. And he looks at me and goes, aren't you freezing? And I was like, yeah, but I mean, like, hot cup of tea, shower, just, like, keep telling myself the shower's going to happen, and, like, well, it is. It has yet to happen, but I needed to make this first, so I'm going to get to the point. Basically, he brought me tea, and I was like, yo, tea, that's really sweet. So I'm drinking some tea. Different people come in. Other people have left with bikes. They gave up on bikes, like, just all sorts of things. There's a lot of work involved in the whole situation. So we get to about 45 minutes to 6, I guess it was. So 5:15. And the shop is almost empty, and it's a tiny shop. So he was just like, all right, we can go inside. So we went inside, and he really wanted to work on this back tire some more. He wanted to get the spoke changed, and then he wanted to get the 5 gear changer off the back tire and put on a 7 that we had found on a 26-inch rim. So basically just finessing the bike. Because my thought was, I can ride it, it has brakes, I just won't change gears for a little bit. We'll put it in a nice gear to start with, and I'll come back next week and we'll worry about it then. He wasn't exactly contented with that. I think he could tell that, like, I was bent on getting a bike that day, and so, like, he had kind of taken that on, and there weren't that many people around who needed help, and so it kind of made him feel a little bit useful. So we're in the shop, we're trying to take it apart, and there was 2 parts that they were stripping, soft metal, bad design, etc., etc. And he looks at me and he goes, you know what, we have half an hour left. And I was like, yeah, we have half an hour left, totally. Okay. And he tells me to come with him, and I'm just like, all right, cool. So he walks out the door. I'm like, okay, we're just going to the backyard. We weren't going to the backyard. We went to the road, which is like King Road, which goes past King's Cross, or King's College. The really legendary thing that is here. I think it's called King's College, but it looks like a cross, so I mean, it's a cross of both. Anyway, so we walked past that, and I was basically like, so, am I going to borrow whatever bike this is that you have just said that we are going to, and then I'll come back and fix the other one? And he was just like, well, no, because I saw you working so hard, and, like, you kept on trying, and, like, you were hitting dead ends all over the place, but you didn't give up, and you were cheerful, and, like, you were outside, and you were stopping, but, like, you kept on working. Like, people would come and go, they'd give up, like, people were begging for help to fix their tires, and, like, you didn't even talk to us until, like, you actually really needed us. And he was just like, I really appreciated that, and then I noticed that you were helping other people with just, like, small tasks that you obviously knew how to do, and he's just like, I just wanted to reward you for actually coming in and doing work. And so I was like, okay. So he then proceeds to explain that he's actually a bike mechanic on the side, and he has, like, a bunch of bikes. And so one of these bikes, he keeps in his basement because he doesn't actually ride it right now. And he, at some point during fighting this stupid piece which broke down, decided that he wanted to give me a bike. And so I was like, I'm a little bit boggled, like, I just met this guy. At that point, I didn't actually even know his name. He knew mine, because another guy that I've been helping, an Italian, had, like, said my name a bunch of times. So he knew who I was. I didn't really know who he was, but, like, he was with the university, so I was like, all right, it's gonna be chill. So, like, we go to his flat, we go to his storage area, and he shows me 2 bikes. And one of them is a racer, which he's like, it's kind of a Frankenstein. I've patched together from all different things, but, like, beautiful bike, totally functional. Like, bike mechanic? Of course it's totally functional. And then he shows me this one that's a fixed speed, and he basically got it because it was locked to someone's porch for a really long time, and they didn't know who it belonged to, and they, like, left a note, nothing happened, and so he got it, and he fixed it up, and now it's mine. So I'm going to show it. So this is my bike. It's like a Python fixed speed, and it's really gorgeous. So I think I'm going to take pictures of it, but basically I rode back from his house to the shop, and he came along with, and we were kind of bantering back and forth. Great sense of humor on that one. We went into the shop. He made sure I had all my things. I did actually end up convincing him that I should sign a contract with the school just to like hold myself accountable, but I wrote Steve like all over my form as in like, this is Steve's bike, it's not the school's bike kind of thing, because like compared to all the other bikes, like it's gorgeous. The other ones are like little and purple and like mismatched brakes and different color wheels and just like chaos. I mean, they roll, that's the whole function. I would have been happy with one of those, but like, this is crazy. So anyways, now, because I've been out in the rain for 6 hours, maybe 6.25, kind of feels like a tree planting day, but because I've been out in the rain for so long, I definitely need a shower. I'm probably going to wash my hair because it's a bit soggy, and I'm sure there's grease in it because grease, it's great. So I'm going to have a shower, and then I'm having eggs and bangers. And I am stoked for that because I'm so hungry. But that tea was really good. And now Christina's making me tea. So, full circle. It's been a crazy day. But like crazy good. And I'm totally about it. Hashtag blessed.